Hello. As you might know from my previous videos, I used to suffer quite a bit from acne, and whilst I've talked a bit about what I did to cure myself and like remedies for spots, I haven't talked that much about the emotional side effects of acne, which for me were more prolific, like dealing with the emotional things than actually dealing with the spots themselves. And one of the main things that I felt when I had really bad acne was the feeling of being really alone. And so the main reason for me making this video is to kind of talk about how acne affected me emotionally and how I would kind of give advice to people to deal with it in a better way than I did, because I dealt with it very, very badly. So if you're interested in any of that, then please keep watching. So when I first started getting acne, it was kind of something that was bothersome, but it wasn't like something that really affected me, because it was, you know, I was getting like the odd spot and they weren't going away, and it was kind of annoying. And for about 3 months I was just using like store-bought things to like topical store-bought things, and after about 3 months of dealing with it, I was starting to get really frustrated and annoyed, and I was kind of looking in the mirror and thinking, God damn it, what am I doing that's making this so bad? And the thing is, at that point in my life, it was when I was just, I think it was when I was in Australia / coming home from living in Australia, and I had a really bad lifestyle there. I ate loads of really bad things. Like I put on a lot of weight when I was in Australia, and I kind of put the acne down to that. And also I wasn't drinking enough water, I was dehydrated all the time. I drank beer probably more than I should have. So I kind of put it down to lifestyle choices. And when I came home, I started to, well, when I came home, I was hell-bent on losing weight, and I lost about 2 stone in about a month and a half, 2 months. I lost a lot of weight very quickly, and my acne went crazy, and I put it down to the fact that I was losing weight very quickly. So to kind of sustain the weight loss and help the acne, I went like mega healthy, and I was drinking a crazy amount of water. My diet was like really spot on. I used this thing called calorie count, and it kind of does you a bar chart of how your nutrition is going throughout the day, and I was keeping to that by the letter. I was going outside and getting my vitamin D, I was taking all the supplements that I could, and I was just the most healthy I've ever been in my life, and my acne was awful. It was just getting worse and worse and worse, and I was getting really kind of upset with the fact that it didn't seem to be anything that I was doing. It was like, it was unstoppable, and that's the frustrating part of having acne that isn't caused by like not drinking enough or not sleeping enough or anything like that. It's like there's nothing you can do to stop it, and that's the most upsetting thing, I think. So when I came home, I did all of that stuff, and then I started going to the doctor, and the things that I got from the doctor were Duac topical benzoyl peroxide cream, which I'd used before. I'd kind of borrowed it from my friend, and it didn't really work, but I thought maybe if I like commit to it, maybe it will work. And he also talked to me a bit about birth control pills, and the one that I'd been on was microgynon, and I've been on it for years and years, and to no ill effect, but he decided that maybe that was causing it and to change things up. So I'll get back to benzoyl peroxide. The Duac didn't help, and I used it consistently and, you know, how I was supposed to, and literally nothing happened to my skin. It was just breaking out more and more and more. And the worst part was, as soon as a spot went, it left a really red mark that was there for ages. Like, I think that the spots would last a week, and the red marks would last about 6 months for each one. So even when I didn't have a spot, it looked like I had, you know, my skin was bad. Anyway, I tried to go on the birth control pill, which is called Dianet, and I'd gone to the doctors and I'd done some research, and I really wanted to try Yasmin because I'd heard really good things about that for acne. And he insisted that I try Dianet first, and I'd read so many poor reviews of Dianet, and, you know, obviously there were good ones, but there were really poor ones as well. And I was on it for about 3 weeks, and I had to stop. I didn't even finish the pack. I was like uncontrollably emotional, and for stupid stuff, like I'd be on the phone to a customer at work, and like if things were stressful, I was breaking down. It was just so out of character. Usually I'm pretty like steady, but I was not dealing with that well at all. So I came off that, went back to the doctor and said, I want Yasmin, please give me Yasmin. And eventually he did, and whilst it didn't help my acne, it's like, it's probably the best pill I've ever been on. Just a little bit of side information about Yasmin. When I first went on it, I didn't find that I gained weight, but my breasts were very big and painful. So that's one side effect. It's, you know, it's unpleasant. It's like, it lasted for about 3 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks, and then they went back to normal. But it was the only bad side effect I experienced. Everything else was fine. And so my kind of emotions were steady in terms of a hormonal side of things, but after I'd kind of gone to the doctor and gone to this DUAC and I was on this different pill, I was, you know, seeing no improvements, and that was the time when I started getting really depressed and upset. And something I'd like to talk about is how I dealt with it in terms of makeup, because I'd kind of, living in Australia, I didn't wear makeup ever. I'd even go on nights out and not wear makeup. Like, it was so laid back and casual, so I wasn't used to wearing makeup at that point. And I didn't really want to wear makeup. I felt like you know, wearing makeup every day would use my makeup up more quickly, so it was more cost effective to kind of wear it sparingly and whatever. But I was really kind of embarrassed of my face, and if I bumped into people in the street that I knew and I wasn't wearing makeup, I would apologise to them about my skin. I'd kind of say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not wearing makeup, and really embarrassed. And you know, they would always say, like, why are you apologising? Like, don't be sorry, it's nothing you're doing. So yeah, I tried to wear makeup, but because I was on all these like topical creams and gels and things, and I was using like tea tree oil to spot treat, my skin was really dry and very chapped. So anytime I put makeup on, any makeup on at all, it would crack like crazy paving, and I'd end up like, I'd spend ages putting it on, painstakingly trying to not disrupt my skin, and then I'd smile and it would crack, and I'd kind of like be peeling my skin away. And I think I've talked about this in my Epiduo video. It's like, it was really sad, and I kind of sit for about an hour trying to do my makeup so I looked kind of passable, and then that would happen. I would just cry and like ruin my makeup with the crying and with the face moving, and I'd end up kind of washing it off, trying to start again, and my skin would be so sore. And so many times I would like cancel on my friends because my skin was in so much pain. I was really sad, and I was embarrassed about the way my skin looked. I'd never had spots before, and suddenly it was just awful. And I knew that people would notice and comment on it and kind of say, oh, you know, oh, I'm so sorry, your skin looks, you know, really painful or whatever. And although when people commented, they were just trying to be kind of helpful or sympathetic. There's a hang glider. Oh, amazing. Oh, anyway, I'm just looking out my window and I saw a hang glider, if you hadn't guessed from what I just said. Anyway, what was I even talking about? For example, my mum had very bad skin when she was my age. She had adult acne as well, which was actually the cause of mine. It's genetic. It's genetic adult acne. And she was on Roaccutane. So I know that my mum knows what I went through. But, you know, if she'd said things to me like, oh, have you drunk enough water? And, oh, well, she'd give me kind of a tip, and I would be like, oh, you don't know anything about what it's like, Mum, like, just don't talk to me. And I was really like angry, and I felt like people giving me advice were people that didn't know what they were talking about, and they should just like shut up. Which was a really bad reaction to have, because people just see, if you see, you know, it's a human being trait. If you see somebody who you want to help, then it's kind of human instinct, isn't it? And that's gonna kind of bring me on to my obsession, because it really, what started with trying to help my skin and doing everything that I could to make it better. I'm doing a lot of this, aren't I? What started with that became a real obsession, and I would probably put that down to acne.org, which was kind of like my saving grace and also, you know, my downfall. It's an amazing forum. I think it's run by a guy called Dan Kern, who suffered with acne and has developed a skincare range for it. And it has kind of product reviews, and it has a big forum for people to kind of talk about everything under the sun about acne and everything else. So I learned so much from that website. However, I spent all my time on it. I was constantly posting and checking and reading about other people's journeys and other people's recommendations, and I was obsessed, and I tried everything that was on kind of the recommendations list, and it really caused me to be like non-stop thinking about my skin all the time. I can't stop looking at that hang glider. And it kind of got to the point where while I was at work, I would wash my skin about 3 times a day because I felt like I was putting my phone to my face and it was getting dirty, and that I'd accidentally touch my skin, or I'd like be sitting on the phone like this and think, oh my gosh, what have my hands touched? Then I'd touch my face, and I would wash my face multiple times a day. You know, it was just, I was obsessed. I was constantly thinking about my skin. Everything that I did, I was thinking, how is this going to affect my skin? So if somebody said, do you want to come out for a night out? I would think, that's going to cause me to be sleep deprived, which will then cause me to have acne, and I'll have to wear makeup, which might break me out. I'm not going to do it. And kind of everything, you know, I wouldn't stay at people's houses because I wasn't sure when they clean their sheets and stuff. Like, the sheet cleaning thing was an obsession. I was cleaning my sheets multiple times a week, and it kind of caused a rift between my boyfriend and I, because I was being, well, it didn't cause a rift, but like it was a bone of contention because I was so obsessed with hygiene. And like, even like if I was lying on a sofa and I didn't want to put my face on a pillow because I didn't know what had been on it, I was constantly considering my skin, and it was boring. Like, after about 1.5 years of doing this, I was so bored of having acne. I was bored of constantly thinking about it. I was bored of constantly talking about it. I was bored of writing about it on the forum, and I was just thinking, I was just absolutely bored to death of hearing myself talk about my skin. And despite that, I couldn't stop. It was unstoppable. And by the time I found my cure, I was just so exhausted, and it really is, it's exhausting. Fighting acne is exhausting. I think the worst part about it is that 2 people in my family at the time were kind of battling cancer, my granny and my auntie, and both of them just like tackled it head on, and were both really like inspirational and strong about it. And once my auntie said to me, like, how are things, like, how are you? And my skin came up in conversation, and as soon as I said it, I thought, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about a skin condition, and it's temporary, it's not forever. Even though it felt like it was going to be forever, I knew it wasn't going to be forever. And I was talking to somebody who has myeloma, and it made me feel like, you know, even though it's completely self-consuming and everything about acne kind of takes over your life, it's not your life, and it shouldn't dictate how you live things. And that's kind of just going to lead me into my final thoughts about acne and the emotional side of things. My boyfriend's sister had also suffered with acne, and I asked her kind of how she was so confident and strong and things like that, and she just said, you know, I've been coping with it for such a long time, and I've just learned to live with it. It's, you know, it's something that can't be helped, so what's the point in kind of going over it in your head all the time? And I was thinking, I know that that's true, and it's so hard to follow when it's on your face, and it's what you present to the world, and it's how people perceive you for the first time, and it's something that you can't hide. You know, I couldn't hide it. I couldn't wear makeup most of the time because it caused my skin to look even worse. I think the main thing that I learned after my skin healed up was that there are so many more things about me as a person that make me who I am, other than how I look. And I think I'd relied a lot on the way that I looked as a teenager, and it really made me, you know, if I was having a skinny dad, feel good, and if I was having a fat dad, feel rubbish. And I was really kind of wrapped up in the whole aesthetics side of things, and I suppose it's a very teenagery thing to be like, but you know, this was when I was 21, and I was, even though I knew in my head there were more important things than having good skin, it really got to me, and I felt that was something that hurt me a lot as well. I was letting acne, the fact that I was letting acne control my life upset me even more, and it's just like, it felt like a vicious circle. So I suppose the main thing that I would say to people who are currently suffering with acne is that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You will find the cure for acne. I think that my main message in this video would be that there are so many more things about you other than the way that your skin looks. No matter if it's acne or something else about yourself that you look in the mirror and say, I think that could be better. You know, there are things that are more worthwhile for you to work on. You're not going to look the way that you do forever. Every year you're going to look older and older and older until you're like a wrinkled old person. you know, you can't take all of this with you as you go on. You know, you've got to really focus on improving yourself as a person. So whilst I let all of these things to do with my skin stop me from doing things that would enrich my life, it's, you know, it's something I shouldn't have done. I should have just gone out there and said, you know what, world, it's only skin, and I'm not going to let you beat me, acne. That's what I should have said, and I regret kind of I essentially lost a year and a half of my kind of personal development just focusing myself so much on acne. So it's probably one of my regrets is putting my life on hold while I was suffering with acne. You know, there were things like when I was in the car, I would choose who would drive between me and Rob according to how bad my skin was on which side. So if my skin was bad on one side, I would choose to be like either driving or passenger so that he wouldn't be able to see that side of me. And same with which side of the bed I slept on, which side of the sofa I slept on. I don't sleep on a sofa. What side of the sofa I sat on. I was constantly concerned with kind of presenting the best side, which is just, it's crazy. You know, my boyfriend doesn't love me for the way that my skin is. And if he did, that's kind of sad. That's not what I want. So I would probably say that just remember that there's so much more to you than the way that your skin looks, and the people that matter to you won't care or judge you about the way that your skin is. And yeah, just to keep positive and be hopeful, and make sure that anything that you do to your skin, you do consistently for at least 6 weeks, because that's really how long it takes to tell a difference. So that's all I've got to say about that. I hope that this video isn't too long. I'm going to edit it down and try and trim it to something manageable to watch. But yeah, if you're interested, the lipstick that I'm wearing is Apocalypse, in the colour Apocalypse, I think. Let me look. Apocalyptic, sorry. And I'm loving them. I think I might do a blog post on these because they're fab. And also, just a kind of end note, I'm doing some extra videos this week because I'm on half term, and I'm thinking about it was my birthday last week, and I'm thinking about doing a birthday haul, if that's anything that people would be interested. I love watching haul videos, but I know that people get negative feedback for kind of, it's like bragging, but I really like watching haul videos, and it wouldn't be bragging, it would be, you know, kind of catering for what I know I would like. So if you want to see that, let me know. I'm also thinking about doing a video about how I feel about not wearing makeup, and I'll do that completely without makeup on, because I've got quite a lot to say about the whole not wearing makeup thing, considering I love wearing makeup. And yes, if you have any requests for videos, please let me know in the comment section. I'm going to collar my boyfriend to do a boyfriend tag, or boyfriend does my makeup tag, or one of those things. So if you want to see any of that stuff, just let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you, and I love talking to you. As you can see, I always reply to comments. So it's the telephone, it's my cue. I'm going to have to go. It's lovely to talk to you all, and I'll see you in my next video.